What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. And today I am going to be trying what I believe is the worst two-stroke for racing in MX bikes. What we've got here is the Beta 300. Now I usually tend to associate Betas much more with enduro bikes. Obviously now with like Benny Bloss for example and Colt Nichols riding the Beta in the Supercross season where they're getting a competitive 450 range of bikes. I'm interested to see what the future holds for them. I think sometimes they look really good, but then other times they just don't quite do it for me. I'm not sure the reason for that. However, in MX Bikes terms, in-game, this bike has been one that I've tried only on a handful of occasions, and it's never been one that I've been particularly fond of. So for a 300, it does feel a little bit underpowered. Also, the suspension on it, as stock at least, is not the greatest. And just the handling, it's a little bit of a tank as well. It doesn't turn as light as you'd maybe want a two-stroke two-turn. So all I'm going to do today is we are on Farm 14, which is a track by Fat Muppet. If you are unsure of this track, where have you been living? You've been under a rock. I think everybody that has the game has this track at this point. Probably the most famous or popular tracks on the servers these days, aside from maybe Walnut, another Fat Muppet track, coincidentally. And we're just going to... I think the race today on this track is only set for a free lapper. But it should be short and sweet, just like me. And I don't know if the road's going to get reset, but this is my first lap around here right now, and the track is looking pretty damn beaten up and brutal. So what should already prove to be a difficult challenge will be made even harder by the track being beaten up. But we are just going to try and win. That is the name of the game today. We're going to see how it goes, and with the power of editing, I will see you all on the start line.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
Right, I got a good 5 minutes or so of practice in there to learn the bike. I don't think this is the most stacked lobby in the world, which is the only annoying thing. That is one of the issues at recording at 1 PM UK time, is the lobbies just aren't that stacked. I mean, looking at the ping, I would like to say most of the people in this lobby are from like the Australasia region. But we'll see how it goes anyway. We've got a couple of two-strokes in here. We've got our cheeky KTM 500 to the right. We've got a bunch of four-strokes in here as well. Very interesting seeing the amount of gases make an appearance recently. Whether that is an effect of how well they've been doing in recent races, I have no idea. But we're going to see how it goes. So all I would say, if you want to ride the Beta 300 yourself, ride in a gear taller than you think you need to. That's the only thing I can say, is it seems to just work so much better that way. I don't know if we're getting a fresh track for this. Obviously the start straight is nice and groomed because no one's been riding the start straight. But we'll see what the rest of the track is like, and no, it has not. So I'm probably about to get taken out, yes, because even though it's one of the most popular tracks in the world, people still don't know how to use their brakes on the start straight, even though it closes up quite quickly. But we're still in P2, so it's not the end of the world. This should actually be quite a straightforward race, so maybe we won't turn into a challenge, because if I don't lose this, it's probably harder to lose this than it is to win it. Let's go that way. Without trying to sound super big-headed, that is just generally the truth. So we're going to see how it goes, and just try the bike in general and see if there's a reason why not many people like it that much, and see what can be done to improve it. I personally, I don't think I've ever seen a Beta two-stroke in real life at all. And the only time I've ever seen them in general is for enduro-related stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about racing these. I don't know what the OEM team are working on these days. I know they've obviously got that Triumph in the works on the 250 side of things. I know it's quite tough, because we're at that point at the moment where the Beta team real life are working on 450s and the Triumph are working on their 250s. It would be nice to have them in both classes, even if there is a level of unrealism there, if that makes sense. It'd be nice if they could just make something in between, just like a fantasy bike, where so for example they've got all of the weights. If we take a Yamaha, they've got a Yamaha 450 weight and they've got a Yamaha 250 weight, holy moly, and just kind of take the difference between the two and then do that for these bikes when you make them. I would love to see more and more bikes being competitive, and if they can make a Triumph 450 or the Beta 450 be fairly competitive, I'd be a very happy man. Because again, that's most of the reason why I've switched to the gas recently, is I just don't like seeing the sea of orange. I'm sure if I spent enough time on the KTM I could vibe a bit, because yeah, without a doubt it's so quick, man. Especially recently riding the Gas Gas. The Gas Gas feels good around the track. This track is absolutely beaten, by the way. Like, this track is in the bin. It is so rough. Riding the Gas Gas around track is absolutely fine. But every start that I do, I even Linda launched a start the other day and got a much better jump than people. Yeah, halfway up the start straight, the KTMs were already on my cheeks again because they are just that much quicker. So maybe, I don't know what the next OEM update needs to consist of. I know they're working on like tyre values, but it's not going to come for a long time. It's definitely not going to come before the outdoors season starts. So we'll see what the meta bike might end up being. I have a feeling it will just be Gas Gases and KTMs, to be honest. You'll get a few Huskies in there, maybe. You might get a couple of Suzukis from time to time. I always like seeing the banana bikes making an appearance. But yeah, I think we'll be most of the same. Most of the same this year, which is a shame. Again, I'd like the game to eventually go down the route of just one bike fits all and just put whatever skins or models you want on it. But I know they're kind of different. Is ideology the right word? Just different methods of going about things. So I know they try and just make all the bikes a little bit different, but if that happens, then we just get a meta bike at the end of the day. So I would like to see it eventually go down the sim route of all bikes being the same, but you can just ride whatever you want, essentially. I'm not sure what I would like to ride. I'd probably switch about a whole bunch, to be fair, if that was the case. I just like having a different bike underneath me from time to time. I feel like things get a little bit stale if you just ride the same thing over and over again. But yeah, let's try and focus on this bike right now. So the Beta 300, it's a bit of a, I wouldn't want to say it's an afterthought bike, but it's a bike that I don't think I see anybody riding ever. It's like if you're going to ride a two-stroke, you probably go down the KTM route. Or if you want something that's more silly / mess about on, you might go down like the classic 125 route with the KTM or 2002 KTM or 1996 Honda 125s. That's kind of where I go for my two-stroke fun these days. Riding this bike just never crosses my mind. And I mean, riding it now, power-wise, I mean, what I said at the beginning, where it's down on power, it can be quick as long as you're in the perfect gear all the time. Although I feel like that's something with all two strokes anyway, is you have to be in the right gear all the time. They can't really pull you out the hole if you're in too high of a gear. But I mean, suspension-wise, it's nothing amazing. The track is fairly beaten up right now, and oddly enough, the only time that it really feels like the bike tracks is when I'm in a very, very tall gear. If I'm in the gear where I feel like I'm making the most RPM and the bike's moving, it'll kind of, it won't do well in the rough stuff. It will get really affected by it. Let me try this uphill turning corner. You see it's fairly stable through there, and again, this is completely stopped. I've made no changes to the bike whatsoever other than taking a bit of fuel out. I think I'm on 5 litres as opposed to normal like 7 or whatever it is in the bike, and it's not too shabby at all. I'm a little bit upset that we couldn't put it through more of a challenge. Simple reason being is just the time of day that I'm recording these, the lobbies just aren't available, unfortunately. There's nobody about on the game. Game being very heavily US based, it would make sense if I recorded these quite late at night, but at the moment I'm on a semi-okay sleeping pattern, so I don't really want to mess it up for the sake of a video or two. But I generally might have to. I really might. I feel like the interest in the game's died down a little bit now. Now we're in the off-season. It's probably going to go quite quiet for a while, and then a couple of days before outdoors starts again, which I believe is at the very, very end of this month, is when I expect to see things ramping back up. One thing that I think it was Larson pointed out in Discord, which I've also noticed coming on today, is all of the servers that are like outdoors prep servers, they're all on last year's TFC tracks, which is incredibly frustrating because, I mean, play whatever you want, I don't mind, but they are not going to help you prepare for what we're going to get in this next season. I mean, the first thing you want to be doing is playing the 2022 tracks, not the 2023 tracks, because they're made by the same track creator that we're having it made by. And maybe as a backup, you could maybe do JV's one just from the roughness and the style of the ruts. But with the TFC outdoor tracks last year, they're way faster than I think we're going to get. The ruts are a lot smoother. Sometimes the ruts don't really face the right direction. You end up flat tracking in quite a few of the corners. And I think they're a little bit too on the easy side. So if you are someone that's looking to get better, to maybe race AMS, or maybe you're going to try Pro for the first time, just try and ride something a bit more difficult. So that's why, I mean, literally yesterday I was streaming, just doing some outdoors grinding, because when I host my own lobbies, that seems to be the only way that we can get some decently sized lobbies on GP tracks. I'm probably going to go and re-download a bunch of the 2022 outdoor tracks just to see how they ride again, just to get familiar with Stone Rider's outdoor hype maps. I think that's the best way to go. But yeah, I probably won't see myself in any TFC lobbies anytime soon, just because I don't think they're beneficial for what I want to get better at. Not saying they're bad tracks, they are certainly there, they've got their place, they're for more of a beginner to intermediate level of rider, but I don't think they'll help you improve too much come this outdoor season, just based on what we're riding on. So that's just my 2 points there. I don't mean to make that sound hateful to the tracks whatsoever. Just saying what I would do in... Oh god, oh I'm alive. Yeah, saying what I would do in these situations. So I mean, I said at the start of the video, or start of the race, sorry, that this would be an easy race. I apologise that it's not a bit more interesting. Unfortunately, I'm just limited by what servers we've got going on at the moment. And yeah, the game is going to be quiet for the next week or two, just while we're in the peak of the off-season. But we'll see. We'll try and get some more live streams going. I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow anyway, so Friday I'll be streaming. Even though there's no aerial races going on, I might check my MXB, see if there's anything else on around the time, or if there's not, we'll just host some more public lobbies for you boys and do some more outdoor grinding, maybe on the Stone Rider tracks. That's not a bad shout. I might do that. I might go and re-download a bunch of them and we'll do it on those instead. So I hope you've enjoyed this very short and sweet video. The server has just ended. Perfect timing. For the Beta 300, it's just mid. It's just mid. There's a reason not many people ride it. There's much better options out there. I think it looks okay. I mean, this kind of bike and gear combo that I'm rocking, I think goes really, really well. But that's about the extent of it. I would much rather just ride this bike in an enduro sense than in a race sense, unfortunately. But we'll see what the future holds when it comes to OEM bikes. Whenever the next releases, we'll see what bikes are viable and competitive compared to the others. And that'll wrap it up for me. So I hope you have enjoyed. As always, if I could ask for just a cheeky little like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, it's very much appreciated. Have a lovely rest of the day, wherever you guys are up to, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.
I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain. Even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want.